What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo, and I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. I'm tired of this goddamn Browns team some days, but my man.
How have we not done that one yet?
I don't know. I was actually asking producer Amber, I was like, have I done this quote? Because I feel like it should have been done, if not already.
It's an all-time classic.
Yeah. So yeah, I felt very good when I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna hit that one today. But my man, how you doing? Just shitload of football. There's a ton of things to watch tonight. For everybody who tunes in, thank you very much. And we say this at the end of the show, and I'll cap it off with that, but time is incredibly valuable. And tonight there's a ton of shit going on. You got Oklahoma, Alabama taking place right now. You got undercard fights going on the Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight, which I cannot fucking wait to watch. I'm going to watch somebody get murdered tonight. It's going to be crazy.
I hope. Finally, we got a real boxer, like a real true blue fucking really good boxer who's not dead.
Yeah.
And being propped up by stilts going up, or not a guy who fights in a different sport, like a real boxer. Like
heavyweight champion at one point. Like very recently heavyweight champion.
This should be a good fight. And if it's not, I've lost all faith in any Jake Paul fights going forward.
Listen, if this goes where Jake Paul wins this thing, with all the gambling that goes on in the country and all the things that we've seen, it would be really hard to not be like, I feel like this is fixed. Yeah. They have, I mean, because Jake Paul has his own, I believe, own fucking sports book now as well.
I know he has an app. I don't know if it's like a sports book app. I know there's something deal that like they're giving everyone $10 for, to pay for their download. If you download it, they pay for it basically type thing, in the hopes, I think, that people just like keep it and use it. Right. I don't know. But again, I don't know what it's for, if it's for gambling or for selling energy juice or whatever prime shit he has, or I don't know.
Hey, he's diversified business.
Suicide forests or something. I don't know.
Was that him or was that his older brother?
It's one of the two of them. But I just assume that they're one and the same.
Basically.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the fight though, man. But we've got a lot of stuff to go over because we had a game last night. We've got full slate that we got to get through tonight. You still got a lot of shit to do. I also have family in town. They are upstairs behind producer Amber, who, thank you, baby. Appreciate you. But my man, without further ado, we ready to kind of go start diving into the show. We'll hit our recap and then start gambling.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into this. Like you said, it is a busy time of the year. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in, especially with all the other sporting events and stuff that's going on tonight. We are definitely trying to fit our show in tonight into more so my schedule, because right now the wife is in flight to go pick up our boys and bring them back here tomorrow. And it's Christmas festivities for the next 2 weeks for me, essentially. And so things get pretty crazy hectic. So we are going to make sure that we get you guys all of our content as usual. And it might come out at slightly differing times, but we'll be here. Our content's out there. If you can't catch us live, obviously you can, pull up the YouTube or our old stream on X and give us a view. And on YouTube, both the horizontal and vertical view are available for your viewing pleasure. Whichever way you like to watch us, flip it up, turn it and reverse it. We're down. We're there. We're going to give it to you raw.
Yeah. I just couldn't help but notice producer Amber in the background going, like, give it the milkshake brings all the boys to the yard type vibes. And, but man, let's talk about last night's game because there were some interesting things that happened in last night's game. We had a team that should have won. We had one of the most absurd official reviews that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There was some apparently anti-Semitic celebrations. We're going to talk about it all, man, because it's all the shit that happened as it relates to this game.
Yeah, look, Raw Dog Sports, we come at you with raw authenticity. We keep it raw. We give you our honest opinions and takes on things. You can love it. You can hate it. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to bullshit you on this show one way or another. But there's a lot surrounding this game. I will say probably the best Thursday night game ever. Like it was actually, in my opinion, at least, it was very good. Entertaining until the end. We saw the Rams get out to a big lead. We saw that lead diminish. You and I were going back and forth talking about Sam Darnold a little bit, how it's kryptonite, big game, Rams. Is he going to be able to carry into the postseason at all? I even said this is why my Vikings were okay with letting him go because you could pay him a lot of money and he's a good quarterback and he's going to put up high volume and get you double-digit wins at this point in his career. But is he going to take you to the promised land? That's a tough question. And then we have a very interesting call that kind of helps to lead to this ultimate comeback by the Seahawks, which led to an overtime win.
That play was an ass play to begin with. So let's just talk about the 2-point conversion that should have failed. By all accounts, did fail.
It failed successfully.
Yeah, like it is a meme because like the play was over. There was no clear recovery. Like if you look at all of the rules that go into clear recovery and all of that, the play was blown dead. It wasn't a continuation of anything. It was just picked the fuck up afterward.
There was no whistle.
There was a whistle.
They said on the broadcast, no whistle was blown. Good job by the refs for not having blown any sort of whistle. The players all stopped playing, and Charbonnet picked up the ball in the end zone. But they said there was no whistle, and the refs just got together after the play. So, you know, what delineates the end of the play? And again, I would have to go back and rewatch to be the one to tell you that there was no whistle. But that's what they said on the broadcast.
Yeah.
I said this to you as well in our little text last night. I fancy us decent football enthusiasts. We like to know a little bit more in depth with the rules and stuff like that, so that way we can have solidly backed takes on things. I think that the 99% of people out there would not have even looked to see was this a backwards pass or not, because it was so close to being straight lateral.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even cross my mind that the ball being contacted during the pass by a defender and going the other direction would do anything other than make it like a forward pass. But the same way that if a ball is tipped, right, it's not like it changes the rules completely once it gets tipped. Like you can have blockers downfield after a ball is tipped.
Yeah,
you can have pass interference.
Yeah.
There's no pass interference at that point. Like it changes things dramatically. I believe that the play was probably called correctly. However, who the fuck is watching for that? We trash the refs a lot on this show. I think that was like a very high level version of watching that, unless you want to get down the line of scriptwriter saying, let's make this thing a little bit zesty. Let's make it a little bit fun and propel this Thursday night game into overtime. Let let the officiating step in and make this happen, because it was a wild call. No one bats an eye, I think, if that's just called an incomplete pass.
Right. Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and nobody bats an eye, but it is, I guess, called correctly. God, I swear.
If there wasn't that whistle,
I'm pretty sure there. I mean, everything that I have seen, because I didn't get to listen to the game. I watched the game, but we were at a bar where they were doing karaoke, so I did not get to hear all of the explanations.
So anyone that's watching, if you're not familiar with the play that we're talking about, you can find clips of it pretty damn easy online. Yeah. Tell us. We can't sit here and watch right now. We're not going to pull it up. We're not going to get strikes from YouTube or the NFL or anything. But tell us in the comments, did you hear a whistle? If you are listening to a Gamecast, can you hear a whistle at any point in time happen? Again, broadcasters, Al Michaels is out there saying, there's no whistle. So I don't know. If there was a whistle, then yeah, then that's a little different. But that's one of the things that the NFL has been trying to train into their refs, especially on plays where there's potential turnovers and things like that, which this wasn't necessarily one of them, is don't blow the whistle early. Let things happen. Let them mature a little bit so that way we can then make a determination, which is a good thing for the league in general, because too many times you see whistles blown really early because the ref thinks a play is over and they are completely wrong. This wouldn't be one of those normal circumstances, though, where you would let the play go, because I think probably even the refs, for the most part, unless they have someone dedicated to, one of those line judges that's watching down the line, saying, I am like primary responsibility is make sure no one's offsides. All right, now I'm going to check or the no fall starts. Now I'm going to make sure and check and see that this pass is forward, backwards, or other.
Yeah.
Which you're asking a lot, I think, for non-full-time employees.
Yeah, was they're in the middle of a CBA. This probably plays well for them, but I think also doesn't, because listen, I still think that what happened was bullshit, but also it's because it fucked our pick. I'm not going to act like I'm not a little biased here, because we both took the Rams on the money line. Looked like it was going to be good.
I took a -1.5.
Yeah.
I was bullish, and it looked good.
Yep.
It looked good for a little while.
I even said, man, your 2 is going to hold because they're going to fail this 2-point conversion. Like, it happened. And then it unhappened. And not great. Not great. And that kind of, turned everything. Seahawks hit the win.
Look, at the end of it, despite losing that pick, I came out of it happy because it was a very enjoyable Thursday night game. I enjoyed the theatrics of it, the back and forth nature, where we saw the best that the Rams can be, and then we saw what a team can do to actually combat them. And great defense, especially late in the game from the Seahawks. We saw Sam Darnold kind of look like he was crumbling, falling apart. 2 interceptions this game. And then you saw him kind of rise to the occasion. You saw Rashid Shaheed get involved, returning a punt for a touchdown. Yeah. You saw a full gambit of different things happen in this game. It was very entertaining for sure.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game, man. Shaheed, we talked about it in Texas. Like, he's been underutilized since he got there, man. He kind of took it upon himself with the return, but they also started to finally get him worked into that offense a little bit more. JSN is a dog, but he can't do it by himself.
Yeah, and we saw it through the first half. It was 0 catches through the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaheed definitely provided that spark to that team, though. Everything kind of turned on its head after that point.
Charbonnet is a vulture. Kenneth Walker is the way better back, more explosive, and Charbonnet just keeps stealing his goddamn touchdowns.
I was a big Charbonnet proponent in the draft process. I don't know if you recall, but I kind of banged for him. I liked Charbonnet out of UCLA. I think he is a good player. I think that he is probably best fit in a true two-back system. I don't think Seattle needs to be a true two-back system. You look at the workload between Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, and that seems a little bit more appropriate, a 70-30 role. But we're not seeing a 70-30 role there, and it's even that much more frustrating as now a former owner of Kenneth Walker, because I dropped his ass.
Yeah,
and that was the catalyst to him going off last night. But still, at the end of the day, it's Kenneth Walker seems to be, we've seen this play out between the 20s is when he's out there. If it's not between the 20s, it's Charbonnet. Also, if it is any down other than first down and greater than like 8 yards, he's off the field. But you saw him get involved. Obviously, he broke off a huge touchdown run. In order for him to get into the end zone, he has to be the one to completely produce it himself, and it has to take place outside the 20s, it seems like.
Yeah, fucking Bud Kilmer won't let him get in the end zone. Keeps taking him out when he gets down there.
Yeah. And then that takes us to Puka.
Yeah. So Puka had a fucking incredible night. Like, he was amazing. In a wild week. Okay.
I started trying to look back. I was like, was Vontaze Burfict out there? Did he pop him in the head a week before? Because we saw the Antonio Brown trajectory all of a sudden really start to unravel real quick with some things.
Yeah.
Like on streams with Aiden Ross and stuff like that, trying to bring him into facilities.
Aiden Ross. And that's the thing. So they were talking about the officials. So he got fucking dinged for talking shit about the officials.
Yeah. And did it again last night.
Yeah. I mean, and then does the dance thing, so I had to go back and look all this up. I was unaware of the whole controversy and everything.
Forgive us, ladies and gentlemen. We don't watch Aiden Ross because we aren't fucking teenagers.
Yeah. And actually, so I'm going to use a word that I probably shouldn't use. It might offend a lot of the women, but I feel like it's the most appropriate word to describe Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is a cunt. And people should not be going on his show. Like, Puka should never have gone and done this, but they all think that these kids, because let's not forget that Puka is still a young man. They think that Aiden Ross is cool, and all this crazy shit that they do is cool. Like, Amber works in a fucking school right now, and the shit that she hears from these kids' mouth is insane. Like, they make racist, like, horrible comments all the time. So it is not surprising to me that Aiden Ross kind of
set Jewish, by the way.
Yeah. Which is, I don't
keep this in mind. He's Jewish.
I don't okay. Listen, man, it doesn't change my opinion of what Aiden Ross is. And then the people should not be like these fucking athletes, these young athletes should not be hanging out with this guy. And he purposely goes and antagonizes people just to create content. It's fucking absurd.
But it works.
It does. It
absolutely works. It's not my preferred brand of content. I'll say that. I can't completely fault people for going out and making money. When in most cases it's not like truly detrimental to other people. But one of the things that we're making reference to here is that they tried to teach Puka a touchdown dance, which had obvious like Jewish greed undertones, we'll say. And it's being called anti-Semitic and stuff like that. People need to keep some shit in mind that I don't think Puka Nacua is a scholar of everything just because he's really good at football. He probably is, outside of what we've seen this week, primarily focused on football. And so it might just not click in the moment what's happening. I think saying that this was an anti-Semitic touchdown or celebration or whatever, I think that's taken it a little bit too far because it is, like racially driven kind of joke, obviously. Right. That was perpetuated by a Jewish person, which is why I bring up the fact that Aiden Ross is Jewish. And it's obviously they're laughing and stuff while they're doing it. Puka, it clearly doesn't connect to him in the moment. And so to put this on Puka, it's like,
I'm not putting it on Puka.
I don't either, but a lot of people are. I've seen big time sports analysts calling and politicians calling for the Rams to cut him. Get fucking real, okay? If someone came up and handed a person a flag and said, like, hey, can I take a picture of you with this flag? And they aren't politically savvy enough or socially savvy enough to know maybe I, A, shouldn't take a picture with a flag, B, especially not one that I don't know, and all of a sudden they're holding up an ISIS flag, like, that's a bad look. But it doesn't mean that person is a bad person. It doesn't mean that they know what that flag represents. Right. But damn if it isn't going to get clicks.
There's video evidence of him being shown and asked to do it, and they don't really explain the context of what it is.
No, it's all live streamed. And I think that in a different current climate, it probably would have just breezed over. But after what happened in Bondi Beach, after the Israel-Palestine conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, that's been going on, a lot of the Jewish hate that is out there right now in general in the world, it's obviously a little bit of a powder keg that is people are looking for anything having to do with Judaism, Jewish people, things like that, and want to call foul on it. And I can't speak from the mindset of a Jewish person whether or not I would be offended or if I'm more, have a higher proclivity in this moment to be upset by that or anything. Me as generally an agnostic person, I take a step back and say, like, okay, you're making fun of religion. I generally think when it comes to humor, most things are on the table, regardless of if it is something directed at something that I believe, or like if we're proud veterans. If you want to make fun of people in the military, like, I'm probably going to laugh with you about it because like that's our community. Like, right. We joke about our fucking community, but it's completely different, I suppose, when it comes to a religion. But it's tough for me to say whether or not Jewish people should be mad or not about it. I'm not here to police your feelings, but I am here to say you need to cut some people some slack. And Puka is one of those people that you probably need to cut some slack on that particular instance, because it's not like he came out there and said something hateful, which is undeniably something that he should have known. Like, they had him doing some dances, and if he's not connecting the dots in the moment, he's already also in a situation where he's on a live stream. He's probably just playing along with whatever they're having him do and not expecting those guys to put him in a situation that's going to make him look like shit.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that they had to know that there was going to be some sort of blowback from Aiden's side. So I don't really blame Puka. Puka was ignorant in this moment. And he kind of came out and said as much. Like, I fucking didn't know any of that shit. So this is an ignorant kid who went on a show that he shouldn't go on, because that is also an ignorant kid, but he knowingly is taking advantage of people to make money off of them, because that's exactly what the fuck just happened with that situation. So that it's a tough spot for Puka. I'm sure he's going to learn. He had a baller game. He's a very good player. He should not be cut. However, he should take some time to become a little bit more maybe media savvy, because his last week has been kind of just fucking gas on a fire.
Yeah, tough. You should be focused on your Thursday night game versus a huge opponent that has serious playoff implications. And I wouldn't say that he didn't focus on it based off his performance on the field. But it's a bad look to be doing other non-football things that aren't for, like, the betterment of, say, the community or something like that. It is, it's a personal in Puka's case as well, it's a personal PR move. You know, he did speak on those live streams about his pay and how he's living in an apartment out there in LA. And people are scoffing, professional football player, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Oh, yeah, you're living in an apartment? Bullshit, like you probably live more. But he broke it down like half his money is being taken by taxes, thanks
Well, he
California.
lives in fucking LA, yeah.
Yeah. And also an apartment in LA costs probably more than our houses monthly combined. So it makes some sense. And so if he's on there basically doing self-promotion, self-PR and stuff like that, that can help you build a brand, which then brings you in more income. The guy probably could use more money and is deserving of more money based off of his play on the field. He's absolutely going to get rewarded for that sooner than later. But, you know, we're talking, you know, brand deals and things like that. He's probably trying, you know, his agent is probably helping to set him up with these things in order to try to build his brand, do what an agent should do, build his brand, and get him more money.
Well, Aiden Ross should be the guy that.
Yeah. There's better ways to do it, but also like you're naive to these things. Who knows? It might have not been his agent. Probably should have ran it by his agent first if he's got a good agency. But yeah, interesting situation overall. I think that the Puka hate is completely undeserved when it comes to that Aiden Ross stream. Other than the fact that, hey, dude, you're naive in this moment. Don't do that shit again. As far as the other stuff, he's knowingly on X making posts. You are allowed to have freedom of speech and things like that. But also, if a lot of these comments from the players that refs like to see themselves on TV and things like that and have egos and things like that, you think that poking at those egos and kind of publicly going at them is going to help you?
Not going to get those PI calls.
Yeah. It can probably lead to those biases being amplified a little bit. So why poke the bear when you don't need to?
Yeah, because that maybe I don't know if Puka thought he was doing some good by trying to leverage stuff with the public perception and their CBA, but the public perception of the referees already fucking blows. Most people can't stand them. We think they're terrible at their jobs. Anybody who watches the game like intently is like, oh yeah, these guys should definitely be full-time employees, so they have to do their job really well.
Yeah. Well, look, we're almost 30 minutes in on one game and multiple situations. Awesome Thursday night game there, but we do have a full slate to go through other than the ones that we've already kind of talked about. So we do have 2 Saturday games coming up here, Philadelphia and Washington, Green Bay and Chicago. Just to recap our picks for those games that have not happened yet. They're happening tomorrow night. You took Philadelphia on the money line. I took Philly on the money line. For the Chicago Green Bay game, you took Chicago on the money line. I took Chicago plus the 1.5, just kind of hedged the bet a little bit there. But either way, we're both riding with the same teams in those instances. And then that takes us to our Sunday slate of games. Are you ready to jump into this one, Mike?
I am. I want to give an update, though, because you said that you have the Bears plus 1.5. That line has shifted. It is now Bears minus 1.5. So you got that at a good time.
Nice. Excellent.
But with that, man, I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All righty, cool. So our first game up here, LA Chargers versus the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, coming off of a big loss there for the Cowboys. Playoff hopes aren't dead yet, but they basically are. And by this time on Saturday, we might actually know, because if Philly gets the win, I think that's pretty much it for the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored in this one, though. Minus 2.5 points, over under 49.5. Cowboys went into that game last week on Sunday night with the number 1 offense in the league. Statistically, I think that they probably still are the number 1 statistical offense in the league, but they're going up against a Chargers team that is scrappy right now. They are favored because they have so much explosive offensive firepower, and you would hope kind of a bounce back to what we've been seeing from the Cowboys a little bit more. But I'm interested to get your take on this one. Marion Hampton back in this game. We saw Justin Herbert show up and be a dog again last week. And despite having that tattered offensive line there in LA, they've still been doing some good things.
Yeah. I was a little confused by this line, but that typically, when things go awry. Because I thought the Chargers, I mean, they just came off a big time win where they were not. People were like, can they do this? Now they're playing a Cowboys team that is basically done. Their season is over. They will know going into this game if their season is over. And if it is over and the Eagles get the win that we expect, I don't know if they're going to be playing all that hard. Now, I think it's entirely possible that offense, they go out there and they ball out. So I'll take the Chargers plus 2.5 points, because if you want to give me points for a team that I think is better on a line that I don't agree with, I mean, I have to kind of ride with that. So I'm going to go Chargers plus 2.5 here.
Yeah. And your kind of thought process there that you didn't really understand the line, I feel the same way with this one. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys on the money line. All right. Point being that this is a very good offense. They can put up a high volume of points. I believe we might be seeing Keenan Allen back. I don't know. We'll have to double check into that, whether or not we're going to see Keenan Allen back. Wait, it's not Keenan Allen. Am I thinking the right one? Keenan Allen should be in this game. Yeah. He wasn't injured. This last game, I don't think. Maybe I'm getting him confused with another veteran wide receiver from a team from LA, Devontae Adams. Very possible there. But I don't think the Cowboys are going to put up 2 bad games in a row. They got kind of embarrassed there by JJ McCarthy. This one could come down to the wire, but because I like the Chargers better and they're getting points, it scares me a little bit that Vegas knows something here. So I'm going to go with Cowboys on the money line, purely plumb there, because I like the Chargers better.
All right. So Keenan Allen did miss practice on Wednesday, but I believe he is projected to go in that game.
All right, sounds good.
You said Cowboys money line. I'm going Chargers plus 2.5. That'll take us into our next game, man. And the one I got here is your game. We got your Vikings heading out to New York, taking on the Giants. You guys are favored minus 2.5, over under 43.5. You had some interesting questions for me in terms of fantasy. Interested to get your take here on what you're expecting from your boys. Is JJ going to go out there and ball again? Does he need to against this Giants team?
Yeah, I don't know that he needs to for the team to win, because the Giants have just been absolutely slashed and gashed on the ground. They're allowing over 5 yards per carry on the ground, especially over the last several weeks. Jackson Dart is going to be out there, and even despite firing Dable, he still wants to go get into that blue tent. Like, apparently they have like some nudie pics on the wall or something like that he wants to keep on going and being like, oh, look at that areola or something. I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't want to protect himself, and he loves that blue tent. What is it? Half the games that he's been in, he's been evaluated for concussions. Yeah. So that's a little bit scary for that offense. That being said, my Vikings also are dealing with some injury issues. I don't think Christian Darrisaw is going to play again this year, and that's probably the right move. He came back earlier from that ACL tear than he technically should have. He was cleared by doctors, but probably could have taken more time. He came back quicker than what's average. And he continues to have swelling in that knee basically every game, where he doesn't practice most of the week and then will be good to go by game time. He's your franchise left tackle. The season is, for all intents and purposes, over. Yeah. You might as well do the smart business move and sit him for the rest of the year. And I think that he actually isn't happy with that, because he had comments towards reporters of, I can't make any comment towards my injury situation. Like, well, I don't know if I'm going to play again the rest of this year. And from a player perspective, that makes sense. Like, those guys want to go out there and compete, right? Yeah. But it's a smart business move to sit him. And then also Jonathan Grenard and Josh Metellus, both put on IR for the year. So we're losing 2 of our big defensive pieces there. I think that the Giants absolutely have a chance to put up points on us. I think great things, obviously, of Jackson Dart and Wandale Robinson and what they're kind of brewing there. But this is a team that played the Washington Commanders last week and got beat by that Commanders team. The same Commanders team that the Vikings shut out 31-0, I believe. I think that we have a strong run game that we're going to lean on that. And I would, again, like to see JJ continue to do what he's done over the past 2 games. He has been very efficient, albeit mechanically unsound. the past several weeks. And sooner or later, it is going to click between him and Justin Jefferson. And I think that there is a very good possibility versus this secondary that it could happen this week. So I like my Vikings in this game. I'll go ahead and take them on the money line. I had told myself, I think like 3 weeks ago, I will not take my Vikings to win a game again. If anything, I'll give them the points, but I won't take them to win. But I do like our chances against this Giants team. It is a little bit scary to me personally as well that this is out there in New York. We can't afford to have players go down at this point in time of year because it's going to affect their status for next year.
Yeah.
So that field scares me. Another reason why I'm cool with Christian Darrisaw being down for the year. So that's the only thing I really got for this one is I'm fearful for injuries, but I would like to see continued progression from JJ. And yes, I did have a question to you about potentially starting him in fantasy this week. My other options were Sam Darnold, which I did not start because he's had some down weeks. And I believe he actually only put up like 10 or 16 points or something like that yesterday in fantasy. I can't remember which. Or Bo Nix. Bo Nix is going up against a good Jaguars defense, and Bo Nix had a hell of a week last week.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to be super consistent. JJ has been doing good lately. My team's name is the Super Blazers. Obviously big into Vikings cheerleading.
Yeah, clearly.
So I think that I'm probably riding with JJ into this matchup. Gonna live or die by his performance on Sunday.
Man, all right. That's a lot of eggs to put in the basket. But man, I am going Vikings money line as well. The Giants, we've been saying it week in, week out. They're just super hurt. Jackson Dart, I think, has the potential to grow into a decent quarterback. Maybe. I mean, he's got a lot of physical tools. One of the things that I had concerns with on Jackson is that he was like a one-read guy. It was there. It was all schemed open for him. And if he didn't, he just kind of took off. And that's kind of what we're seeing still. He's progressing, yes, but he's taking off. And now when he's taking off, he's not taking care of himself. And he's kind of said that that's not how I fucking play. Like he's kind of said, I'm not going to necessarily take care of myself. He's going to try to fight for that extra goddamn yard, which is scary if you're with the Giants.
Yeah.
So,
for your long-term future, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I did see a fun, interesting thing out there, a trade proposition that the Steelers should trade for Jackson Dart, give up a wealth of picks, and try to somehow get Fernando Mendoza, or the Giants get Fernando Mendoza as well.
Oh, fuck, is that going to happen?
Well, the Giants have a very high pick. So if the Steelers were to trade a couple firsts for Jackson Dart, they get their quarterback, and then you get Fernando Mendoza in there, who might have more long-term health success than Jackson Dart, and a whole bunch of extra first-round picks to kind of retool that team for their new head coach. I don't think that's going to happen because New York's got Dart fever. The fan base has Dart fever. Him and Scadaboo are going to be fun for at least the next couple of years, probably watch and see how they grow. But with that, we can move on to our next game. We just got done with mine. We might as well jump straight into yours, which is our next one up. Buffalo Bills going into Cleveland versus the Browns. Browns currently getting 10.5 points versus this Bills team, over under a 41.5. I'm sure that you're tracking whatever sort of weather you might have going on out there. It is cold. I know that for sure. But I'm going to just come out with my pick straight off the rip before you can go into your diatribe on things. I am picking the Bills on the money line, not just because I think the Bills will probably win this game, not because I don't think that the Browns potentially, with how the Bills have tripped up at certain times this year, I think the Browns could potentially keep them within 10.5 points. But for your sake, for you and every other Browns fan, I hope that you guys get blown out. So that way Kevin Stefanski has yet another notch on the belt as to why he should get fired. Because I truly think that the success in your future revolves around moving on from that head coach. I think Barry should be on a short leash too, but I think that Stefanski absolutely needs to be gone this year if you have any hope or semblance of moving forward, whether that is with Shadur Sanders, who they don't seem to have the best of relationships, or if it does happen to be with a different quarterback in this draft, or even next year's draft, because I don't think that Stefanski has the ability to develop these quarterbacks. And I don't know that the coaching staff necessarily around him does either. I would much rather gamble on someone else being able to go in there with a extremely talented defense and a couple of holes to possibly plug on offense at receiver and offensive line, and then build from there. So I'm going to go with Bills on the money line, and I hope that it is worse than this 10.5 points, so that way Stefanski can hopefully get canned.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to this game. I'm excited to go. My family's here. Brother-in-law Josh, big time Bills fan because of Josh Allen. I mean, they're from Wyoming. They just traveled here from Wyoming today. So he's very pumped to go watch Josh Allen play. Josh Allen, quarterback at Wyoming. So there's a tie there, right? I'm very excited to go watch Josh Allen play because he's incredible. I am excited to see Miles try to get home on Josh Allen. That's going to be a fun matchup. Those two going at it.
One sack from tying the record?
Is he? Well, it depends. Did they give him a half of the sack last week? Only a half last week?
I think so. I think I saw something on one of my betting slips this week that he needs one sack to tie the record. I'm not 100% positive. Don't hold me to that. Okay. I assumed you would know.
But. So the last I thought he was at 22, but that was the last number. They could have updated it because I was talking with Amber last time that they could easily adjust that stat to just a half of a sack. So if they made the adjustment, then but they were saying during the broadcast
21 and a half.
22. Yeah, so they adjusted it down to a half. So he needs, one to tie, 1.5 or 2 to break it. And Josh Allen
he takes some sacks.
He takes some sacks.
You could be there for the record.
I could be there for the record. It would be awesome to see. But I am also going Bills on the money line because our coach is going to fail us in some fashion. You brought up the coaching staff. It's not just that they can't progress the quarterback. This special teams is one of the worst coached units in all of football. Our special teams is awful. But
I heard a rumor that Bubba Ventrone is in line to take over for Stefanski if he gets fired. Long term.
Don't fuck
big,
with me,
big in the Browns organization. They love the name Bubba.
Yeah, for sure. That would make sense. They are from Tennessee.
I'm bullshitting completely.
No, I'm aware. Bubba Ventrone's a terrible coach. The entire coaching staff needs to go. Barry is up in the air. I agree. I think I could see him be promoted. I think promoted sounds like a great idea. Cap guy who will take over that Paul D. Podesta role a little bit, but will have a little bit of knowledge but won't be in charge of picking fucking players. However, he did a good job this year.
In the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a good job this year in the draft.
He did a great job in the draft this year, minus weird quarterback stuff, but everything else was great.
Yeah. So the quarterback thing, he just can't figure out either. So he shouldn't probably be in that role as a GM. Because, I mean, we tried. We had Baker. We pissed that away. We tried Deshaun. That didn't fucking work.
The problem is you say promotion. Promotion means that they're just going to add to his role and give him the DePodesta spot in addition to his current duties. Sometimes title change is a promotion, but I don't know that it would be from GM. I don't know that a title change would be that. I think that you probably should move on from him as well, personally, but I just have a little bit of lack of faith that your organization will actually do it.
Yeah, I'm fucking very nervous that they're not going to fire either one of these guys at the end of the year. And I'm incredibly nervous that that's going to happen.
Deshaun Watson might be QB1 going into next year because he'll be back and healthy.
Oh, my God. Dude, I don't know if I can take
Throw more, getting out of prison, becoming the new head coach.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck. Michigan fucked him over because they didn't cover up his floozies long enough. Like the AD didn't fucking know about that. And so he's going to try to stick it to Michigan, go to Ohio, take over the Browns. He's already got his QB there. Perfect.
I don't like
Match made in heaven.
this fantasy at all. It sounds awful. Sounds awful.
How did
Well,
we
yeah,
get
this game,
Henry Ruggs out of
I'm gonna have a
jail
good
to
time.
be
I'm
your
gonna
wide
shoot the
receiver?
documentary. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna tailgate, but I don't expect to go in and watch it win. Bills money line. But all right, it's gonna take us too hard in the next one. Which it could be a very interesting, fun game. But two shit teams. We got the Jets taking on the Saints down in New Orleans. Saints favored at -5.5, over under 40.5. Couple of young quarterbacks, I believe, still getting the start. Brady Cook still starting, I believe, for the Jets.
I believe so.
Yeah. So this could be a little fun rookie quarterback matchup of two guys that you didn't ever really want to watch. The Saints have been playing better with Shuck, though. He's played well. The Jets are hurt. They don't have a ton of offensive weapons that are healthy, that are top flight. Tyrod Taylor, helped that offense quite a bit because he brought a veteran leadership, was able to move the ball. But with Brady Cook, I mean, you're not going to have that. He threw a touchdown last week, but he also threw 3 picks. So it's going to be
Garrett Wilson sat for the year. No, he is down for the year now. Announced today. Yeah, I'm going to New Orleans on the money line. I'm a hardcore shucker right now. Shuck myself. It's at a point with the Jets where you can't expect a whole lot better to happen. I mean, we've seen crazier stuff happen where their running game completely takes over. But yeah, I'm no Devin Neal or Alvin Kamara for the Saints. They're going to be running with Audric Estime, Notre Dame alum out there who has a insane fan base behind him. And he didn't do a ton last game other than in the receiving game. But still, I think that the New Orleans is just playing better right now. They probably have played themselves, I think, out of getting the first overall pick already. They're 4-10, and you got multiple teams that are way worse than them. So at this point, you're going to get a high pick. You might as well continue to try to develop Shuck as much as possible to see if he's what you want to roll with going forward. So New Orleans money line.
Yeah, New Orleans money line is definitely the right call. Shuck has been playing better, like I said. Is there a way that we're gonna just see nothing but the exciting whites in this game? Like when you think, because you got Shuck who runs it, and then you got
it's the unexciting Hill. Whites.
No, Taysom. They're exciting whites. They score touchdowns and stuff. So I think we could see a big Taysom Hill. Oh, is he healthy? Because he was banged up, man.
My Taysom Hill tracking app has been leading for a little bit. So
this is going to be a weird, shitty, boring game, or it could be a huge scoring day because both of these teams are not great. But Saints on the money line feels like it's the right answer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We're going to go to Tampa Bay at Carolina. Tampa Bay is favorite in Carolina, -3 points, over under a 45.5. This is a big one because both these teams took an L last week. And both of them are fighting their tits off to get that NFC South. I can't get a read on who the Panthers are. Talked about this. They play good teams really good and some bad teams really bad. And then they play the Falcons good regardless, basically, it seems like. Take what you will from that. But Buccaneers are a good team that's very injured. And in this one, dropping 3 points for Tampa Bay scares me a little bit because divisional matchup for playoff spots on the line. This could become like a very close game, another one that comes down to the end. But I think we're going to see an angry Baker. We've seen a Baker slump. He's going to get out of it sooner or later, in my opinion, at least. And I think we're going to see an angry Baker. I like the Panthers in this game, but I'm going to be going with the Bucs on the money line.
Okay. The way you were talking, I was like, I'm not sure that was going to be it, but I thought about taking the Panthers plus the points because they have been playing way better. I 3 points now. I don't want a push. I don't want another push on the season. I think they could win this thing. The points seems appealing because the defenses have been porous for both of these teams. Bucs money line feels very safe, though. I haven't hit an over all year. I'm going to change that, right? I'm going to change that with this game. Over 45.5 is where I'm going. Normally, I do all my picks before, but, busy day, we moved the show around. So now, I'm shooting from the hip here, people. So I'm going to go with over 45.5. Both of these teams have been prone to giving up huge points days. So.
Oh, I like it. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals and the Quinn Ewers led Zach Wilson backed up to a Tagovailoa emergency quarterbacked Miami Dolphins. Bengals are dropping 4.5 points on the road at minus 102 odds, over of 47.5. Could be an interesting matchup here.
Could be.
Because
just talking. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, you give me this 3 weeks ago, and I say, I don't care if it's Burrow or Flacco, this offense is going to be able to put up a lot of points, right? Mm-hmm. And then Burrow the past couple weeks has looked apathetic to football at times, definitely does not look like himself. You get the weird comments and press conferences, which have continued. I thought this last press conference was going to go better for him and Cincinnati fans, of him being like, yeah, I want to continue playing here. And then he gets asked to follow up of like, have you had thoughts about playing other places? He's like, think about a lot of things, which very reminiscent to Stefon Diggs from my team, who said something along the lines of, there's truth in every rumor. And then he gets traded to the Bills. I think it would be suicidal for that Bengals team to move on from him, but by golly, if they want to, I wouldn't mind having a chat. Yeah. But yeah, the Dolphins, very interesting situation with Tua becoming that emergency quarterback.
I was not expecting it like all the way to third, right? Like Zach Wilson is going to suit up with a chance to play. Because listen, Quinn Ewers is going to be, he gets to go against a very soft Bengals defense. But Quinn Ewers is walking into his first start, replacing what was supposed to be the franchise quarterback. That's a shitload of pressure. Yeah. Even late in the season. I don't know that it's going to go very well for Quinn. Quinn was also a late round pick. And I think most people had Quinn pegged as a late round pick based on talent. The Bengals should win this game because this is Quinn getting his first start. But the Joe Burrow thing still worrisome. You said that, you've seen a pissed off Baker. If we get pissed off Joe Burrow, this is a fucking blowout. But if we get aloof, I don't give a fuck Joe Burrow, the Dolphins win this game, even with Quinn Ewers playing fucking quarterback.
There's a storyline with this quarterback situation, me, that makes me want to see Miami win. And that is that maybe Mike McDaniels, while he does have some leadership issues for sure, I mean, they've already fired their GM there. It's very possible that he's been going to Stephen Ross, and apparently Stephen Ross really likes Mike McDaniels. And he goes, you've seen the offenses that I put up here. You've seen how I've switched things and just gotten our running game really going this year. You give me the talent and I can make things happen. And then the leadership stuff that we're talking about, that's never a problem when you're winning, right? But I've got a guy who is a pariah, a heretic, a guy who is in the locker room calling players only meeting, calling people out for shit that he himself is doing. A guy who we can't trust going forward because of his concussions. And I was saddled with this guy, and we extended this guy with this other GM, but now the GM's gone, and Mike McDaniel's doing the big balls move.
Yes.
The ballsiest thing that he might have done in his career there, and benched him. And if they go out and they win with the Quinn Ewers, and mind you, Mike McDaniels comes from the Shanahan tree where we have seen the likes of Brock Purdy and Mac Jones go out and look pretty good.
Yeah.
And Quinn Ewers is a lot closer to those guys than Tua. He could go out there and run a very Shanahanian offense predicated heavily on the run game and getting the ball to the Darren Wallers and Jalen Waddles and stuff like that, Malik Washingtons. And maybe they're able to snatch one here, especially if we get that apathetic Joe Burrow. Like, for the sake of Mike McDaniel's career, continuing to be a Dolphin, I think it might be a little interesting. And if it does turn out to look okay, I will bang the gavel right now that I think that they will probably look to try to trade up in the draft to get one of these top quarterbacks to replace Tua, but they're going to have a very Vikings model where they go and they trade for Mac Jones, so they know they have a floor at quarterback, and then hope to develop a guy sitting behind him like the Vikings did with Darnold and JJ McCarthy. That's just if things look okay this week and they get maybe a win. But this is
where are we going? Where are you going? Honestly, I'm doing it, man. I've talked myself like this is it. This is the downfall of Joe Burrow and the fucking Bengals relationship. This is it. This is the beginning of the end. This loss
manifesting.
This loss to the Dolphins is what is going to really sell it that Joe Burrow is fucking done. Loses to a rookie quarterback, making his first start on a team that was not very good because he just said, fuck Cincinnati. I'll buy that. Give me Dolphins money line for the big balls move.
Oh, okay. All right. I had you down for the 4.5 on the sheet here, but if you want the money line, we'll go with it, brother. Word out of Miami with Quinn Ewers. A lot of people in the organization are behind him. They like his arm. They like his decision making there with his accuracy. I've heard this before with Max Brosmer. And that didn't turn out too well, albeit we were going up against a Seahawks defense that is really good. I am playing my fantasy play of the week here. Cincinnati on the money line. I want a big game from Jamar Chase. Give me a big Jamar Chase game. So Cincinnati on the money line. So I do like your Miami play. I pretty much had myself like right there about talked into taking the points, not the money line. You're fucking, right. You're psycho.
Listen, I'm going for it, man. I can only hope for the downfall of this Bengals Burrow relationship, because if he stays there, they're going to be good at some point again. They'll figure it out, and he's too fucking good as a quarterback. Like, he's not going to sit there and just suck for forever. He'll either retire or he's going to be good. Like, I cannot foresee Joe Burrow taking this tailspin down in his career because he's so goddamn good. So I'm saying that this is it. This is where the beginning of the Carson Palmer era for Joe Burrow begins. I'm so excited for it.
I'm going to be happy with that if my Vikings somehow got Burrow. But
we'll see. Listen, I feel it. All right, man. Another game that's going to have interesting quarterback matchups. We got the Chiefs without Mahomes taking on the Titans and their rookie number 1 overall quarterback. Chiefs are still favored in this game, -2.5. Titans have been terrible. But if there was a time where the Titans could clip a team and get a win, maybe knocking them out of the number 1 overall pick area, this could be it. A Mahomes-less Chiefs. Gardner Minshew has shown that he can win, but he's also shown that he can turn the ball over a lot. Where are you going in this?
This game is being played in Tennessee for all those reasons that you talked about, including the massive amount of injuries for this Chiefs team. We're talking Leo Chanel out, Trent McDuffie out, Jalen Moore, one of their starting offensive linemen, out. Rashee Rice, out. Jawan Taylor, out. Tyquan Thornton at wide receiver, out. Jake Briningstool, tight end, out. Nazeed Johnson at safety, out. Derek Nottie at defensive tackle, out. A lot of starters or heavy rotational guys are not playing in this game. I think they're packing it in for the year. I like Gardner Minshew. I don't like him that much. I'm thinking that I'm taking the points here for Tennessee. This is one where they could get them. Because look, there's sometimes like your quarterback goes down and good teams with good coaches will rally around that fact and they'll get a little boost for like a week or so. They'll overcome the odds. But at this point, I mean, you had players last week not even knowing they were knocked out of the playoffs and finding out during press conferences, and you lose Mahomes. This is probably Kelsey's last year there. Most of your starters are not playing. It's probably down in the dump season for them, and they don't very often on this Chiefs team get to start booking flights to the Caribbean early. So a lot of them are probably like, well, shit. We're not going to get to do this very much in the future either because we're the Chiefs. So let's take one off. Players don't really take off games. They don't, but the vibes are definitely down there in Kansas City. Fuck it. Give me Tennessee plus the points.
My man, I'm following suit. I think that this is my path also to the Browns potentially getting the number 1 overall pick. So I'm just manifesting a whole bunch of shit tonight on the show. Yeah, I'm taking the Titans plus 2.5 and hoping that the Titans actually win this motherfucker. That is the ultimate goal there.
Let's be clear and just put it out there into the ether right now. All these cards fall. Browns get the number 1 overall pick. What are you doing with it right now in this moment?
I'm still trading it.
Trade.
We have many fucking holes.
Right. Mike's not on any Schedule 3, about to be Schedule 3 drugs or anything like that. He's making the right move, people. Trading that pick, because for all the Browns fans that want a Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, I think that's not the right move, personally.
Great. Can get a fucking king. Somebody is going to love Fernando Mendoza.
I mean, I like Fernando Mendoza a lot.
Somebody is going to pay a king's ransom to go up there and get that number 1 overall pick.
Absolutely. The Cardinals, the fucking Raiders, the Jets, maybe.
The goddamn Jets.
Steelers might trade not to the Browns, but like they'll be willing to go up and probably try to get a guy because after Rodgers this year, you ain't got shit. There's a lot of teams that absolutely would go up for a Mendoza.
This is the year. This is the year where you can really recoup a lot of assets. In the last year where Deshaun Watson is on the team, where you're fucked by salary cap, so you can build for the future, build a core. Everybody's we got to win now. We're not winning now. Look at the team. It's not winning now. You have to actually come up with a fucking plan on how we're going to do this. If we get the number 1 overall pick, we trade down, we collect assets, we try to win with Shadur. If it fucking works, fantastic. I'll be thrilled. I want that to work out. If it doesn't, the best year to get a quarterback is going to be next year. There's going to be a lot more options in next year's draft than there are in this year's draft. I like the guys in next year's class more than I like the guys in this year's class.
Yeah. And look, won't name names, but obviously people are referencing like most important things at quarterback. Look what happened with Drake May. I can kind of get behind that. There's not a Drake May in this class, in my opinion. But there very well could be next year. Some of the guys coming out next year, they're there for it. And the good teams are the ones that don't jump out of their boots and trade up their entire future for one of those top-end quarterbacks, top end. If we look in recent history at the teams that have done it,
it's a crapshoot, dude. And it doesn't work most times.
Like almost all the times. Bryce Young, Sam Darnold for a while, Trey Lance. There's plenty of those guys that have been moved up for that have absolutely not worked out. It's very rare that you give up huge sums to get up in the top 5 to get a quarterback that it actually works out. It's a desperation move. I get it. Like,
now we'll already be there, so we won't have to give anything away.
No.
Somebody will have to come up and go there.
Maybe.
But I think that somebody will do that, and I think it's the right move because like I said, I like the quarterbacks in next year's class more than I like these guys. Fernando Mendoza is a good quarterback, but I mean,
to be fair,
is he a fucking franchise changer that you can put the entire franchise on his back like you're asking Drake May to do? I don't think so.
We've seen 1 year of really, really good production from Mendoza. And to be fair, I like Mendoza. I think he could be a franchise quarterback. I think you probably have a capped ceiling, but I think that you can be an extremely good franchise with that, especially on a rookie wage scale. Same with Dante Moore. I like Dante Moore a lot. I think that his ceiling is definitely higher than Mendoza, but I don't think that he's ready to start this year. And I think that he's probably going to end up going to a team that wants to start him right away, which scares me. But look, more draft analysis, more draft talk, maybe even some insights potentially from, I don't know, the Senior Bowl or something like that from your boys here. We will go through all these prospects coming out this year, potential draft situations, draft trades, what teams should be doing in free agency, all that stuff in the offseason. And so if you are liking anything that we're talking about here, if you disagree with us, if you just like to hear us bullshit, please take a second, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We would be really appreciative of it. And then that way, when we do get into that offseason content, for those of us who are now already looking forward to the offseason, or those of you who are following teams that are winning still, you'll have notifications when we start dropping our content about all of the offseason activities.
Oh, yeah. All right, brother. We ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
We got Falcons.
Bird game.
Yeah, bird game. We got Falcons going down to Arizona, taking on the Cardinals. Falcons are favored in this -2.5, over under 48.5. Fairly high scoring game. Both of these teams have had defenses that have been porous, especially in their secondary. We know that Kirko Chains is going to be starting. What kind of matchups are we going to get? Are we going to get another big Kyle Pitts game? Drake London is, I think, scheduled to come back, good to go in this game. So we could see a lot of points. This is another game that if the points were a little lower, I might be tempted to go on the over. But how do you feel about this one?
This is a game that the Falcons should win, which means nothing.
Yeah.
It means I don't know. You have the Arizona Cardinals going with yet another backup slate of running backs. It's a tough spot. Like, I think if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm really hoping that we lose this one to kind of better ourselves going forward into the draft process. And if I'm a Falcons fan, I don't know what to think because terrible Terry Fontenot has kind of screwed this team. It doesn't matter what draft pick we get because we traded away our first round pick out of desperation to get yet another defensive lineman, which Pierce has looked good, but I don't know that he's necessarily worth the first round pick that they traded up for him by any means. And it's just such a fluctuation of good week, bad week, good week, back week. And the Falcons aren't playing the Buccaneers. For whatever reason, Kirk Cousins with the Falcons plays really good against the Buccaneers, and he's not doing that. He's playing the Cardinals. I don't know how good the Cardinals are. Like, we've seen good games from them and high output offensively, so it's a tough one. You talked about the over-under there, and I was intrigued because I was like, yeah, that's if it was a little bit lower, we're talking the 46, 45-point range, yeah, I'd be hitting the over.
Yeah.
I can't get a read on this Falcons team. They are the better team. They should win. So I'm going to take the over. Fuck it. Hopefully we get a good offensive matchup. I can't pick the Falcons, even though they're the better team. They should win here because you can't trust them week in and week out.
I feel that. I'm just I got to go with the team that I think has the best player, and that's Bijan Robinson. I'm going to go Falcons. I know that they've been terrible, and I've buried the fucking Falcons basically all year. The Cardinals have been really, really bad recently. And the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, he's still going to be, he wants to fucking have a job somewhere. Whether that's in Atlanta, when taking over or like holding it down for Michael Penix for a while, or going somewhere else, he is auditioning. He is still playing to show that he can go and start somewhere. That, I think, is going to drive this team. So I'll go Falcons on the money line.
All right. I hope you're correct there with your Bijan prediction, him being the best player on the field. I would love to see him get utilized heavily in this game, again, for fantasy purposes. All right, next up, Jacksonville Jaguars going into Denver versus the Broncos. Who would have thought that the Jaguars would have been this good this year and that this game is essentially a playoff matchup? But here we are. Denver Broncos favored -3.5 points at home, over under at 46.5. Are we going to see the same sort of Bo Nix that we saw last week? Are we going to see what we've seen a majority of the year, which is kind of floundering until later in the game when it's necessary? This Jags defense, again, pretty solid. And their offense, especially last week, I mean, they were going up against the Jets, but they had a hell of a game. They are a Florida team traveling across the country into a cold environment, higher altitudes. Those things are going to start to play into this a little bit. Mike, where are you going to be going in this one?
I was kind of shocked at how the Jags have done this year. I was obviously very much hoping that they would have a shit year because I own their first round pick. Trevor Lawrence balled out. You kind of asked, which Bo Nix are we going to get? Which Trevor Lawrence are we going to get? Because the guy that showed up last week, 5 touchdown Trevor Lawrence, that guy is fucking special. But we've also seen just regular ass middling Trevor Lawrence. I'm very happy for, I think, one of my off the hook players of the week, Jacoby Myers, just signs a new fucking deal, 3 years. He's been great since he got down there. All things are pointing in a positive direction for the Jags. But the Broncos are really goddamn good. And they're really good on defense. I think that defense will probably carry them in this game. I'm taking the Broncos on the money line. I'm not going to drop any points. 3.5 is too much because both of these teams have been playing pretty damn good football. They're both going to be playoff teams, it would appear. Jags still kind of, are they going to get the division or are they going to end up as a wild card? Because if that wild card is going to get very, very close, very tight here at the end. I believe they are in right now. Let me double check.
Yeah, they're leading the division at 10-4 right now. Divisionally, they do have Houston nipping at their heels at 9-5. Either way, I think that where they're at right now, they're probably getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, because the only people that are worried about are the Colts or the fucking Ravens / Steelers. So they are probably getting in. Yeah, I just gotta go Broncos, man. Broncos money line is where I'm going.
Yeah, and I'm going with I love my wife pick of the week, Denver on the money line as well. She's a Broncos fan. I will convert her, but until then,
right?
She's a Broncos fan, so Denver on the money line in this one.
Yeah, listen, those Broncos fans, they convert easy. Trust me. Producer Amber used to be a Broncos fan as well. She is now a Browns fan through and through. She doesn't know the pain, but she's starting to learn it.
Yeah, I would think so. All right. Next up, your favorite team in the AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers, going up against the Detroit Lions. Lions are favored at home, -6.5 points, over under of 51.5. Again, the Steelers team fighting for playoff spots, and the Lions, third place right now in the NFC North. Defense not looking good. Definitely high-powered offense, but it's kind of not looking like their year, despite having a really good season last year. Mike, thoughts on this game? Is Aaron Rodgers going to ball out with DK Metcalf again? How hard do you get watching him on the tush push, just stand there clenching his ass cheeks? doing absolutely nothing.
I think it's fucking hilarious that he does that, by the way. I don't really particularly care for Aaron Rodgers anymore, but that is very funny to me because he's like, look, I'm not.
It's the most fuck you move, and I hate it because it's Aaron Rodgers. If it was someone else, I might think it's kitschy and funny the first time, but the fact that it's happened so many times now of him just fucking standing there, basically smoking a cigarette.
Oh yeah, it's fucking smoking Jay Cutler type shit for sure.
Yeah,
like just fucking chilling.
It's very much so. Why am I here? Attitude.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is what it is.
I hope that they get smacked because there's a chance that they could still have a losing record and lose this division, and the Ravens could win the division. That's what I'm really hoping for. I got the Lions on the money line. 6.5 is a lot to drop. The Lions probably are not gonna not be as invested in this game as maybe in years past, but like they are still have a chance at making the playoffs. They need some fucking help because the Packers have a game and a half on them essentially. So yeah, Lions money line. That's where I'm going. I'm going Lions money line. Also, fuck the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers are venturing too close to the sun, and by that I mean they're getting too far away from a 500 record right now. With a loss that'll bring them back to earth and to closer to a 500 record at 8-7. So I will take Detroit on the money line as well.
I like the logic there.
Pure logic. This is the takes that you come here for.
Oh yeah. All right, man. So moving on to the next one. This is going to be a fucking blowout of epic proportions. We got the Raiders going down to Houston. Houston is favored -14.5. You can get even money at -14.5. Over under of 37.5.
-1200 on the money line.
-1200 on the money line if you want to take the Texans. This is going to be a fucking ass whooping. The defense, this is like the best defensive unit in the NFL against the worst offensive unit in the NFL, quite possibly. It's going to be really, really bad. I am doing it. I'm taking the fucking even money and going -14.5. This is going to be a fucking slaughter.
It should be. Look, in earlier parts of the year, you might think that this could potentially be like a trap game because Raiders are really bad. Houston have an awesome, decent defense that they're going to ride behind, and the offense has picked up a lot lately. And this is one of those times that you think maybe the better team will sleep a little bit on the bad team, and that might make you want to take the points for the Raiders. I won't be doing that again. I fucked that one up last week. I thought maybe some Kenny Pickett magic might happen. Absolutely did not, and shame on me for thinking that. But back to the trap game aspect, I don't think that's a possibility either because this Houston team can't afford to sleep. They need to win in order to continue to fight for that AFC South position. They are one game back from Jacksonville. Jags absolutely could go into Denver and win a game. So they need to keep the throttle down, winning games here. Houston on the money line. I'm not dropping the points because I hate huge numbers like that. I will not bet this game at -1200 odds because I'm not a fucking psycho. But Houston on the money line feels like safe pick to me.
All right, Houston money line. Listen, that's the slam dunk of slam dunks. -1200 odds. Vegas is even letting you know, like, take it if you want it. We're not gonna fucking pay you. So
the fact that you're only getting +750 back for the Raiders to win.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, because Raiders, I don't think they have a chance in fucking hell.
No. Listen, the over could hit if Houston scores 38 points. That's the way I see this game going.
Fair enough.
So,
all right, next up, New England Patriots going into Baltimore versus the Ravens. Patriots taking L last week versus the Bills. at home, but now they travel to Baltimore, and Baltimore is dropping 2.5 points here at minus 122 odds. Over under of 48.5. Vrabel probably is getting in the ass of his guys after last week, and I think that this was probably, not that losses are good, but a good loss for New England. Get it out of the way, get out of your system, reignite the fact that, hey, we are susceptible to losing. We have to fucking keep going because the playoffs are right around the corner. We're probably getting in, and we're going to be facing stiff competition week in and week out. So we cannot afford to fuck up like we did last week and put up a stinker of a second half. Ravens also playing for a lot here, obviously still fighting for that playoff spot, and they are trying to climb a hill that is seemed like at times this season was completely insurmountable. And then they're like, oh, fuck, we play in the AFC North. Anything's possible. So, Mike, who do you got in this game? Who's going to come out on top in Baltimore?
The Patriots are a better team. Like up and down, they've kind of shown that all season. But the Ravens are favored. This is one of those where Vegas, I feel like Vegas does know something here. Lamar Jackson has to get a win here. And Lamar Jackson's fucking special. To keep their playoff hopes alive at all, they've got to get a win here. I've been kind of bucking the trend saying, fuck Vegas. I'm sticking with it. But I'm actually going to ride with them here. I don't know why. Listen, Drake is a good fucking football player. MVP conversation this year, right? But he's not impervious to fucking having bad games, bad weeks. And Harbaugh is a damn good coach. I'm going Ravens on the money line. I'm definitely not dropping any fucking points here. But I'm gonna ride with Vegas. I'm gonna go Ravens on the money line.
All right. I'm gonna be taking New England plus the 2.5 points. I do think that Vrabel probably got into his guy's ass. I think that he will lean a little bit more on Trevion Henderson in the run game. Vrabel has experience with Derrick Henry and from his time with the Titans playing against Lamar Jackson. He knows the type of stuff they're going to be doing there in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is special, but he's not been special this year.
Yeah.
Been anything but, it seems like. The Ravens can lose this one, and Baltimore can lose this one, and not a whole lot changes there in the AFC North. And I think the Ravens have a good chance of possibly overtaking the Steelers by the end of the year. And so if our prediction is true that Pittsburgh loses their game, it's okay for Baltimore to lose this one as well, even though obviously they got a lot to play for.
Right.
But New England, after taking an L last week to Buffalo, they need to do what they can to keep them at arm's length. They still have a game lead on the Bills right now. And so winning this game to maintain and secure their spot as the winner of their division is absolutely necessary. I'm going to take New England plus a 2.5 here in a little bit of a get-right game.
All right. I feel it, man. Listen, I think they're a better team. Normally, this is where I would say, no, I don't agree with this line. But I'm for some reason, I just feel like Vegas is going to get me on this one. So I'm going to ride with Vegas, even though it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But that's going to take us into our Monday night game. That's right. Producer Amber knows. A Monday night game. We got the 49ers taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. 49ers are favored minus 5.5. Over under of 46.5. Phillip Rivers playing again, starting again. His odds for a touchdown, not nearly as well. They're much higher this week. It will not pay you nearly as good as they did last week. We looked. But he was able to keep that Colts team relatively close against a very good Seattle team that we just saw go in and beat the Rams. Can Phillip keep this game close? 5.5. That's, I mean, it's not enough, I don't think. I feel like a touchdown could be the difference in this one because the 49ers, for as boring as they are, Shanahan is damn good coach. They just are methodical. They will find ways. They will get chunks. And the Colts, I don't know if they can keep up. The fact that they were able to hold the Seahawks to so many field goals and Darnold had a down game was huge. I don't know if that can be repeated again, especially against this 49ers team. Where are you going?
I'm going 49ers on the money line. I love you, Uncle Phil, but this is a really good team. No one's going to come in being surprised that Philip Rivers can still play a little bit. So they're going to know what Philip Rivers' weaknesses are. Robert Saleh is going to know exactly how to take care of the passing game, if you will.
They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage, man.
The slow balls. Yeah. It's so much so that for one of the few weeks this season in fantasy, outside of the bye week, I'm actually singing Tyler Warren. It scares me a little bit. So I'm going San Fran on the money line. I don't think this is going to stay within 5.5 points. I think it's going to be at least a touchdown. And San Fran absolutely has a lot to play for. So they're not getting into their division lead probably. That would take an act of God, I think, at this point. Being 2 games back from the first place Seahawks, and the Rams ahead of you as well. But they are playing for a playoff spot for sure. And so lot on the line for San Fran. Indy already probably understands that, we had a good run at the beginning of this year, and this is a shot in the dark here with Philip Rivers. Really good showing from that team last week. Applaud the Colts completely. But you're not going to be able to do that every week going here on out. So San Fran on the money line for me.
Yeah, it was a cool story while it lasted. But it's not going to be good. Like I said, I kind of already alluded to my pick as well. I don't think 5.5 is enough. I'm going 49ers on the money line. I'm not going to drop the points. I'm just going to take them on the money line. Because I guess there is a possibility that Jonathan Taylor could get loose. Because they do have a ton of offensive weapons on the Colts still. So they could, I guess, technically keep it within that touchdown. I don't expect that to happen. So I'm just going to hedge, go 49ers on the money line, and play it safe there.
All righty. Well, that wraps up this week, but we do have our good boy Blitz putting together yet another parlay for us. Had some success recently, looking to be successful again. So Blitz's big bet for week 16. We got Jahmyr Gibbs over 72.5 rushing yards. Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, -125 odds going up against the Commanders. That seems like a smart play. And Tajay Spears over 17.5 receiving yards. Tajay Spears has been a big part of that Titans receiving game. He's only in the past 5 weeks been under 21 receiving yards once. And that was last week. They're going up against a very defeated Kansas City team there. So Tajay Spears looking to be involved in that passing game. That gives you plus 534 odds on Blitz's big bet.
Yeah. So Jahmyr Gibbs has been a little bit down recently, but I think that we could see a big time get right game. I think Saquon should get in the end zone, man. Like the Commanders have been not very good. And then you brought it up, Tajay. So plus 534, a little lighter than the last couple of his bets. But you know what? 534 is not bad. It's a respectable bet.
Not bad for a 3-leg parlay at all. And they can't all be in the 700s. Blitz's Red Rocket got real veiny throbby last week with the win. He has learned from this year that just because you get one of those big ones, you can't try to top it every week. So not a bad little parlay there. But that pretty much wraps it up for us on the show, Mike.
Hell yeah. My man, yeah, there we go. If we can show the picks, I'm sitting at 54.9% Evo. You're at 58.4. Not a great start to the week with the way things ended last night. Banger game, but our picks did not pan out. We share a lot of opinions this week. So hopefully we will be both, enjoying a lot of green slides come our next show, which we are going to have to figure out. We've got a lot of things going on. The holiday season is here, people. But like Evo said earlier in the show, we will make sure that we get it out. We want to come to you guys. We're going to talk about all these picks. We'll be making picks every week. And we just appreciate you guys for showing up, being here. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give some of it to us, we are forever grateful. With that, I'm going to give my man Evo one last word, and then we're going to get the fuck out of here. And then we will let you guys know through the socials when we will be back because we have to figure that out ourselves. But my man Evo, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of brought this up earlier with the Puka Nacua conversation, something that we didn't discuss in our last show. But to the victims out there at Bondi Beach, terrible atrocity that happened out there. We feel for everyone there. We feel for the Jewish community and everything that you're going through right now. It's terrible to see these acts of violence going on. And so, especially during this time of year, which is supposed to be about happiness, family, and peace, let's all have a peaceful, happy holidays going forward. Even if you're having a bad time and feeling in a bad way, one of the best ways to kind of get over that is to lean into positivity and happiness with the people that are around you. And if you don't have people around you and you're having a bit of a down holiday, reach out, talk to someone. Don't be afraid to, express yourself. This is a time of giving, and I'm sure that there are people out there that would like to give you a little bit of their time, just as we would be absolutely willing to give you a bit of our time to help you if you're having a tough moment. So hopefully everyone has a happy holidays. Hopefully you all tune into our show coming up sometime this week. We'll find out exactly when our next show is. But that's all I got for tonight, Mike.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you. It was very well said, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I am Mike. That is Evo. This is Raw Dog Sports. We'll be back with you guys in a few days, around-ish Tuesday. So we'll figure it the fuck out. But we'll let you guys know. Appreciate you. Love you. And we'll see you soon. See ya. Yeah.